today we're going to talk about friendships. I thought that it is one of the relationships that I would like to talk about since it's been kind of on my mind recently. I've been in this situation where a friend of mine felt disappointed that I didn't reach out to them and started to reevaluate our friendship, and it was a little disheartening, but I didn't realize that this individual wanted me to reach out to them when they were going through some difficult moments of their life. I personally thought that they wanted some space, but it was, I guess, the complete opposite. Even though I was the one that reached out to them to see how they were doing, their response was very cold. It may have come across as that I was very dismissive when I had apologized and said that I would understand if they had to reevaluate our friendship and that I had no control over that. And they took it in another way and decided to block me. I've known that if you don't necessarily want to be with me or hang around with me, it's not something that I can control, and whew, that was a lot. But after talking to my best friend, it was interesting because her perspective was that I should be evaluating our friendship if this is how they feel as well. And it kind of made me think that I have to start letting go of people who no longer serve a purpose in my life. And it's not that I don't love this friend, I actually still do. And I have to realize that sometimes people come and go, and this is something difficult because I really value friendships, relationships, and just overall connection with people. And so to feel misunderstood or not wanted or even feeling abandoned kind of just like makes me feel sad inside. From time to time it happens. I've had these moments with my friends from high school, and I also had a coworker who I dearly loved. That friendship just kind of faded with time, but I do hope for the best for them. Friendships are one of those relationships that's a little bit different from, your relationship with your family and your significant other. As far as family goes, they're always going to be around regardless if you want to talk to them or not. And then same with my relationship with Oliver. It's not like I can just talk to him like a few days and then leave him a few weeks and then go back to him. Friendships, on the other hand, are simply fluid, and I feel that living in LA, I have friends back home in Colorado that I don't talk to on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. There will be moments where we can talk for days on end, and then there are also moments where I probably won't talk to them for maybe like weeks or even months. And when we do talk, it feels like we just picked it right back up and there's no hard feelings, versus I think there are moments when, yes, I don't talk to a friend for a while and it might be a little awkward at first, but I think we both know that the intention is that we care for each other and that we still want to be friends. It doesn't feel like a forced connection. It's like a push and pull, and a lot of these friendships also are very understanding, and they know that I have a life and they have a life, and maybe that's a part of maturity. In reality, I'm actually very thankful to have the friends that I have. Even to this day, I live in a different state from my best friends, and I know that I've met a lot of people this year, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to discard my other friendships in the past. It does require a little bit more effort on my end and possibly on the other person's end to constantly reach out to each other or to be able to connect with one another. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't want to be friends. There were many times where I felt misunderstood by a few other friends from work, but I think this is one of those moments where I kind of have to let it go. I feel like I've done my best. I've apologized and the ball is in their court. I think the more I think about it, I feel like I have abandonment issues. It's something that I didn't really go deep into. I have this anxiety when people who are very important to me leave. I think I can kind of pinpoint where in my life I felt this way. It's definitely something that I have to work on. I guess a few other things I kind of wanted to address is that a few individuals have mentioned, how do you have so many best friends? And the way I see it is that I don't necessarily rely on one person to fulfill my needs. I have multiple individuals who kind of provide different things in my life. For example, I have Erica, Connie, and Sashaline, who is there to listen to me whenever I have issues that I'd like to bring up. I feel very comfortable telling them about my life without feeling judged, which I think is a very key important thing to have in a friendship. And I have Andy, where we also talk about certain things in life and we help motivate each other, inspire each other. He is my accountability partner this year, and we've been having quarterly meetings where we kind of catch up to see where we're at with our goals. I have my sister who I would talk to about our family stuff and just life in general. A lot of times my relationship issues, I'll turn to Erica and Sashaline and Connie, and just overall, I don't put the burden on people. As a social butterfly, I've noticed that I'm able to adapt to a lot of individuals, and as accommodating as I am, I do feel like I'm very selective of my friends and who I want to hang out with. Some of the qualities that I see when seeking a new friend is, one, how vulnerable are they with me? They need to be vulnerable enough to share about their lives, to help me connect with them on a deeper level, but then also I'm able to do that with them. Yes, I don't mind knowing where you're from or what you learned in school and what you do for a living, but I want to know what tickles your fancy when it comes to hobbies and what drives you to do the things that you want to do, or do you have any passions and are you working towards those goals? It's just insightful for me. I guess I really like thought-provoking conversations and just learning the person on a deeper level. Surface level stuff is not so meaningful to me. I can base a friendship off of that, but at a point I can hit a wall. In some ways, I feel like if you're vulnerable with me, that means you trust me with all the information that you have about yourself, and knowing that I won't turn it against you. I understand it's really hard for an individual to do that because obviously you're not going to know if a person's going to like you or not and use that information to hurt you. It's just one of the things that I look forward to whenever I am meeting new people and gaining new friendships. The second quality that I look for in a friendship is, how good is your heart? It's really important to me that your morals and values somewhat align with mine. I say somewhat because there are people out there who don't align with my values per se, and I won't necessarily judge them for that. However, if I know that you're a good person, I will definitely keep you around. Now, the definition of good really depends on how I see and view you as an individual. Sometimes I do question people and their motives, but for the most part, the people I surround myself with have a good head on their shoulders, so. I think I also look for friendships that are going to last forever. I mentioned earlier that I would like quality friendships, and so quality also means you're in it for the long haul in my definition. In order for anyone to feel like they're getting closer to one another, you need to see somebody frequently and keep that connection alive. I know earlier I had mentioned that Friendships don't necessarily need to be constant, and you don't have to talk to your friends all the time on a daily basis, at least maybe once or twice a month. There are times when it's gonna be more than that, and that's okay too. Most of my friends, I've kept a good foundation with them, and we have connected for years and years. Like, I think Erica and I have been friends for about 15 years now, and maybe even Sashaline. I think Andy and Connie are up there as well. So these are the friendships that I've kept for quite some time. I know Lisa and I, we go way back from like high school days, and that's probably one of my longest lasting friendships. Her and Alec, yeah. So I'm very thankful. I know that we don't get to talk very often or get to see each other, but as we get older, I notice that it's more about the quality time that we spend. Another great quality in a friendship that I look for is someone who is always there to be my cheerleader. There are a lot of people out there who will support you in whatever you want, but there are also people out there who don't necessarily have your best interests, versus I feel like my best friends do. They can tell me the truth without making me feel like I'm inadequate. Perhaps I think of them in a different light and know that whatever they say, I don't necessarily take any offense to it, because I know in their hearts, whatever they are trying to tell me, good or bad, is they're doing it for me, basically. Another great quality is someone who's always there emotionally, and doesn't necessarily need to be there physically, but emotionally. Whenever I'm distraught, I need that individual right then and there. It's great to have friendships like that, because I know life happens and it can get quite scary just being on your own. I do remember one time someone had asked me, how do you have so many best friends? And I think what it is that as life went on, I don't see it as, oh, I have like 5 best friends. It's more like I kind of go through life and certain people connect well with me more than others, and I will just kind of adopt them as I continue to live. And I'm lucky enough to have so many friends at this point in my life, and I'm very, very thankful for that, because I know some people struggle to create friendships and maintain them. Like any other relationship, friendships require a lot of attention, and so it's a push and pull, and you gotta work together. I know some moments I might not reach out to a friend, but that friend will reach out to me, and vice versa, and that's what keeps it going. I do think it does require a little bit of work on both ends, or else if one person's doing more than the other, it's just unbalanced and it doesn't feel all that great for whoever is doing more of the work in their friendship than the other person. I think that's where it kind of fell apart with my other friend. Even though I had reached out to this individual and I did apologize, it was just not enough apparently. So I will wait for them to reach back out to me, and if they don't, then I'm just going to think that it is what it is. As long as there is a mutual understanding and constant communication with each other, even though if there's a 1 month gap or 2 month gap, you should be able to realize that there is no ill intent on the other individual's part. Just hope that they are still your friend and that they will reach out to you. Perhaps they're going through something, or perhaps you're going through something. And if you need to talk to your friend, please do reach out to them, because they won't know if you need help or not. Needs to be communicated, if that makes any sense. I guess as I get older, I noticed that friendships are kind of like, I think I read it somewhere, they're kind of like seasons, where we're gonna have our spring and summer phases where we're gonna see each other very often, and then all of a sudden, sometimes there's gonna be slow moments where it's gonna be fall and winter, and during those seasons, we're not going to talk as much, but it's very cyclical, and at some point the friend is going to come back again. We're going to reconnect and everything's going to be all right. I appreciate it if you're one of my friends watching this video and I haven't talked to you in for quite some time. It doesn't mean that I don't miss you or care about you. I know at times it's just, I don't know, it's just life. So yeah. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk, or AKA my YouTube talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.